Great, Gia. If you'll let those folks in from the waiting room, that'd be great. Can you do that?
I hit admit all. Yep.
Okay,
There we go.
perfect. All right, sounds good. All right, I think we have a few people in with us now. Hello and welcome to the GRadulting Workshop Series. My name is Debbie McCutsky, and I am the coordinator of services and programs for graduate student legal aid. I use she, her pronouns. And our focus today is so exciting: auto and renter's insurance. This is a hot topic as the cost of insurance has increased dramatically over the past year or two. So it's a good time to really understand how much coverage we need so that we're not overpaying, right? All right, so before we get started with the presentation, I want to make sure that you all know about legal aid. So, what does legal aid do? Why should you care about legal aid? Um, Legal aid does a lot of different things. Number one, we have an attorney on our staff who helps students with domestic legal issues. Number one issue, landlord and tenant disputes. We also have an immigration attorney that we contract with for our international students. We help students who've been charged by the university. I am a notary public, so I can help you with notarizing your documents. And if you paid your student fee, then you've already paid for our services. So there is no additional charge and no reason to not reach out for help. So visit our website to get more information about our services. It'll tell you who we are, what we do, and how to request an appointment. So just a bit of housekeeping. Near the end of the workshop, I will post a link to an evaluation form. Literally, it'll take you a minute. Please fill it out. Tell us how we did. Compliments, criticisms, suggestions. We want to hear from you. After the workshop, or actually tomorrow, I will email links to the survey, the slides, and the recording to everyone who registered. And we will post all of this on our website. So, finally, right before I get to introducing our wonderful speaker, we do want to hear from you. We want to hear your questions and your comments. So please hold them until the end of the presentation and then use the Q&A feature, not the chat. Post them in the Q&A. So let's get going. I am so pleased to welcome our speaker. She has been with us before, and her name is Gia Wilkerson. Gia is the Consumer Education and Advocacy Unit with the Maryland Insurance Administration. And she's got some great information to share with us. Gia, thank you so much for being with us and for making time to talk with me and all of our students.
Debbie, thank you so much for having me. It is a pleasure to be here with you all today. As Debbie mentioned, my name is Gia Wilkerson. I am with the Maryland Insurance Administration's Consumer Education and Advocacy Unit. We are the unit within the agency that's responsible for going out throughout Maryland to educate consumers about their rights when it comes to insurance and their insurance policies. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about auto and renters insurance considerations. As Debbie mentioned, please hold all questions or place them into the chat as we will do a Q&A session at the end. So what is the MIA? Uh-oh, we're not moving. Okay, there we are. We are the state agency that regulates insurance here in Maryland. We license insurers and insurance producers, also known as agents or brokers. We examine the business practices of all licensees, agents, or brokers. We also monitor for solvency of insurers to make sure that they have what it takes to be able to pay out your claim. We review and approve insurance policy forms. We review insurance rates to ensure that rates are not inadequate, excessive, or unfairly discriminatory. We also investigate all consumer and provider complaints and allegations of fraud. So, what is auto insurance? It is a contract between yourself and the insurer that protects you against any type of financial loss. So, in exchange, you paying a premium, the insurer agrees to pay for a certain covered losses as described within your policy. Some of the basics: liability insurance, bodily injury liability coverage, property damage liability. So, liability insurance is going to protect you and other insurers when you cause an accident. There are two types of liability coverage: bodily injury liability coverage, which will protect you if the driver of your car causes an accident and an injured person makes a claim or files a lawsuit against you, unless the driver of your car is excluded or does not have a reasonable belief they are entitled to drive your vehicle. Property damage liability is going to protect you if the driver of your car causes an accident resulting in damage to someone else's property, like another vehicle or other property, such as a fence, unless the driver of your car is excluded or does not have a reasonable belief they are entitled to drive your vehicle. Maryland law does require all registered vehicle owners to carry a minimum amount of liability coverage. $30,000 for bodily injury per person, $60,000 bodily injury per accident, and $15,000 property damage. Uninsured motorist coverage, which you may see on your declaration page as UM, will protect you and other insurers under policy terms when an accident is caused by a driver who does not have auto insurance coverage. They don't have enough liability insurance, or when the owner of the at-fault vehicle cannot be identified, such as in the case of a hit and run or a phantom vehicle. So Maryland law requires, again, all registered owners to carry a minimum amount of uninsured motorist coverage: $30,000 for bodily injury per person, $60,000 bodily injury per accident, and $15,000 property damage. So what happens if I have a lapse in my auto insurance coverage? Because Maryland law requires that you maintain the required minimum coverage at all times when your vehicle is registered, they will assess a penalty for every day that you do not maintain minimum coverage. You can find out more details about the penalty on the Maryland Motor Vehicle Administration's website. Collision coverage. This is an optional coverage that you purchase to provide for payment of property damage to your insured vehicle from a collision with another vehicle or object. So if you are in an accident and have a collision coverage, your insurer will pay to repair your vehicle or will pay you what your vehicle was worth right before the accident occurred if your vehicle is a total loss. Comprehensive coverage pays for damage to your car resulting from car causes other than collision, such as vandalism, theft, or storm damage. Typically, both coverages have a deductible. So when it comes to auto insurance coverage, comprehensive coverage provides you the coverage property damage to your insured vehicle resulting from occurrences other than collision, so such as flooding, theft, vandalism, glass breakage that was not a result of an accident, or say if a vehicle strikes an animal. Personal injury protection, also known as PIP, will provide reimbursement for medical expenses arising from a motor vehicle accident for injuries to you, your passengers, or a pedestrian struck by your vehicle. It will also cover lost wages and other related expenses from a motor vehicle accident. Maryland law requires insurers to offer policyholders at least $2,500 in personal injury protection. You may choose to purchase limited PIP coverage, and certain individuals may be able to fully reject PIP coverage. Please speak with your agent or broker to learn more. So, how are auto insurance premiums developed? So, there is a wide variety of criteria considered to help the insurer in predicting the likelihood that there will be an accident or you will file a claim. So, those include age, sex, marital status, the number of miles you drive annually, your driving record, your credit history, the purpose for you driving your vehicle, the location of where your vehicle is garaged or parked, your driving experience, and any claim history that you may have. As rates are increasing, we strongly encourage everyone to comparison shop. Even if you love your insurance carrier and you don't want to switch, we always encourage you to comparison shop by looking to see if you can obtain those same coverages from another insurer at a lower cost. When doing so, make sure that you compare policies that offer the same types of coverage with the same deductibles and coverage limits. Make sure the information that you provide is accurate and that you provide the same information to each insurer that you call. Ask about any deductibles and when those deductibles may apply. On our website, we do have a auto insurance comparison guide to rates. This is broken down by county, zip code, and scenario to give you an idea of how much you should be paying. You can either download it from our website or you can call us to request a copy. The rates are updated twice a year in February and in August. So for college students or just students in general with a car at school, make sure that the insurer knows where the car is going to be parked. Generally, an insured is going to require that you notify the insurer whenever there is a change in the policy information, including where the car is garaged. Also, different states have different levels of minimum coverage, and it's important to comply with the coverage minimums in the state you are living in. Another factor to consider: who is the legal owner of the car? If the car is titled in a parent's name, the parent will likely need to insure the vehicle. You may be able to stay on the parent's insurance policy as a listed name driver. Contact your insurer or insurance producer to find out additional details. Keeping a clean driving record can make a big difference in your race. Drivers with accidents and moving violations, such as speeding tickets, red light camera tickets, generally pay more for insurance. And young people already face high insurance rates due to inexperience. Remember, if you are insured under a parent's auto insurance policy, your driving record may also affect your parents' insurance rates. So a little earlier, I talked a little bit about being an excluded driver. So sometimes when you have those moving violations or accidents, if you're on your parents or someone else's policy and it's impacting their insurance rates, sometimes the insurance company may reach out to them to ask them if they would like to list you as an excluded driver from their policy. So if you are a student and plan to buy or lease a car, it is a good idea to choose carefully. Certain vehicles cost more to insure. Ask your insurer whether there are any discounts that may be available to you. Good driver discounts, multi-policy, multi-vehicle, protective device. Not all insurers offer the same discounts. The last two auto insurance tips: keep a good credit rating, pay your bills on time. Don't go crazy with the credit card. Your credit score can affect your premium rate when you buy a new policy. And students, please keep your grades up. Many insurers offer a discount if you keep up a B or better average. We do have a few publications in regards to auto insurance on our website. A consumer guide to auto insurance is going to go a little bit more in depth to talk about auto insurance, the different types of coverages, Maryland law requirements, and some commonly asked questions. Tips on shopping for auto insurance. Understanding your automobile insurance declarations page. Your declarations page is a form that you receive from your insurance agent or producer either once or twice a year, which goes in depth to talk about the types of coverages you have and how much you're paying for those coverages. Auto insurance, a comparison guide to rates. It's updated again every February and August. And then an insurance preparedness guide for natural disasters. We also have on our website now an interactive auto insurance rate guide where you can answer a few questions and type in your address, and it'll populate for you that way as well. So next up, let's talk a little bit about what is renter's insurance. Our agency now has an initiative where we are stressing to Maryland consumers the importance of renter's insurance. So it doesn't matter where you live, maybe in a dorm, maybe in an apartment with a couple of friends, or even if you live if you're renting a room somewhere. Wherever it is, you are likely to bring a laptop, furniture, various electronics, maybe a bicycle or other equipment for outdoor activities. Items you keep in a rented apartment, house, dorm room, or a rented room in someone's home generally will not be protected against loss or damage unless you have a renter's insurance policy. However, if you are a student living in on-campus or school-owned housing, your belongings may be covered under a parent's homeowner's insurance policy, depending upon the terms of their policy. So it is a good idea to check with your parents' homeowners insurer or insurance producer, agent, or broker to find out if the policy will cover your personal property while away at school. So, what does a renter's insurance policy actually cover? Loss or damage to household contents or personal possessions. It can cover everything from electronics to clothing to household appliances. Even a minimal number of items could add up to thousands of dollars worth of personal property, which can be covered in a basic renter's insurance policy. Many policies do not limit protection to your belongings located in your home or apartment. So, for example, items you have insured often are covered if they are stolen by someone who breaks into your car or if they are damaged by a covered peril while not on your property. Additional living expenses in the event of a covered loss that makes your home, apartment, or condo uninhabitable. If there is damage to the building you're renting and you must live elsewhere while the building is being repaired or while you relocate, you will generally have coverage for additional living expenses incurred during this time, subject to the terms of your policy. Liability coverage for injuries to others and or their property caused by your negligence, and medical payments coverage for others that are hurt while on your property, even if you are not at fault. A renter's insurance policy usually covers your personal property and your personal legal responsibility or liability for injuries to others or damage to their property. So, what perils are covered under your renter's policy? When you are shopping for renter's insurance, it is important that you understand what perils, risks such as fire, wind, hail, theft, and or vandalism that can cause damage are covered by your policy. Some policies cover multiple perils, while some may only cover one very specific peril. And oftentimes we see when it's one specific peril that it may only be fire. If your home is damaged by a peril that is not named in the policy, then the damage will not be covered. So, for example, if you have a policy that says it only covers damage caused by fire and you incur wind damage, your insurer will not pay to repair the damage. A policy that only covers one peril will likely be less expensive than one that covers multiple perils, but it is essential that you understand the limitations of the policy. Although a policy that only covers one peril may cost less upfront, it may not provide sufficient coverage. So, for example, recently a number of apartments in the city, in Baltimore City, were damaged in a windstorm. Many of the tenants did carry fire only renters insurance policy because in previous years, the building had experienced fires and they didn't have coverage. So, although their belongings were destroyed in this windstorm and they had renter's insurance, they did not have the peril to cover wind damage. So, frequently asked questions. How much coverage do I need for my household property? This is going to depend on the value of your personal property. So, we always suggest that you start by making an inventory video of your personal property to determine the value of that property. You can do so by using your cell phone, camera, video camera, group like items together in categories, or you can do it room by room. It doesn't really matter, it's just your personal preference. As far as your cabinets and your drawers, you're going to open all of them, pull them all out. Um, when you buy additional items, just bring them home, put the receipt next to them, and also take them that way. A lot of times, the stores that we shop in now have rewards programs. So if you put in your phone number or email, they will email or send you a receipt. So save that somewhere safe as well on your phone. You can store your home inventory and related items such as any sales receipts or appraisal documents in a safe place, such as the Google Cloud, flash drive, a fireproof or safe-proof box. An updated inventory can always make it a lot easier to file an accurate, detailed insurance claim in case your personal property is damaged or destroyed by a covered cost of loss under your policy. So, what does actual cash value and replacement cost value mean? This will also help to determine the cost of your renter's insurance policy. ACV coverage provides you with the cost to replace your personal property up to the limit of the insurance policy, minus depreciation for age and condition. RCV provides you with the cost of replacing the damaged or destroyed property up to the policy limits without any deduction for depreciation. Next question. When I was a homeowner, my policy didn't cover damage by earthquakes or flood. Is it the same with a renter's insurance policy? Damage from earthquakes or flood are generally not covered by a renter's insurance policy, but may be available to you as separate policies. The National Flood Insurance Program provides flood insurance in many areas. For more information or to find an insurance producer near you, you can visit their website at www.floodsmart.gov. So, how much does renter's insurance cost? The actual cost depends upon the amount of coverage you want, the type of coverage, whether it's going to be replacement cost value or actual cash value, and the deductible that you select. The average renter's insurance policy costs anywhere between $15 and $30 a month. Replacing all of your possessions or being liable for an accident on your premises will cost you much more. Are discounts available? Insurers will often reduce your premiums if you have fire or burglar alarms, fire extinguishers, sprinkler systems, and/or deadbolts on exterior doors. Some insurers might even offer discounts if you have more than one policy with them, say an auto insurance policy. Keep in mind, a lot of management companies now are including what's called a PDLW in your lease. It's a property damage liability waiver. They may require that you purchase this or include a fee for it as a part of your rent. It is important to know that this is not renter's insurance, and it typically will not cover any of your belongings. This generally only covers damage to the building and may only apply to certain types of events such as fire, smoke, explosions, or leaking water, and typically only works on behalf of the property management company. So we also had a comparison rate guide for renter's insurance. Again, comparison shopping is always the key to getting the most of your insurance dollar. So tips for getting the most out of your insurance shopping, again, make sure you provide the same information to each insurer or insurance producer. We recommend calling maybe about 3. Ask about discounts, ask about deductibles and when they apply, ask about what is covered, what is excluded. In addition to the price, consider factors such as coverage limits and customer service. Ask your friends or neighbors about their experience with different insurers. So this is going to be an example of what our renter's insurance comparison rate guide is going to look like. The very front of it, and it's also available on our website or by calling us. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. This is our number, 410-468-2000 or 800-492-6116. Thank you. Debbie, I'm ready for questions.
All right, folks, you heard her. Gia's ready. So the Q&A is open, and we're just going to be patient and let you post your questions. You know, while we're waiting, Gia, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
There are lots and lots of speed cameras around the College Park area.
Yes, because I had
And
to come to the campus not too long ago for something, and I noticed that,
uh-huh,
along with all of the construction.
yeah, yeah, you can't miss it. So, if one were to get a ticket from a speed camera, does that get reported to the insurance company?
I think it depends on the insurance company. I'm not sure if it's like if you get one or if it's an excessive amount. That would be a question for motor vehicle,
Right.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But sometimes I know that they do put that in the equation for the factor of how they determine the rates, but I don't know if it's a thing of, oh, Debbie got a speeding ticket today. Let her insurance company know right now. Or if
Right.
it's, Debbie's name has come past here 10 times this week, her insurance company needs to know. I'm not sure how soon. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. Hey, Hannah has her hand raised. So Hannah, you can unmute yourself and go ahead and ask your question.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Speak up just a little louder.
Okay. Well, first I wanted to say it looks like the Q&A is disabled.
Oh, all
It says that
right.
it's turned off.
Sorry about that. I will get right on that.
That's all right.
Did you have a question, Hannah? Or that was it?
Yeah, but I'm gonna type it out because I'm in a shared space right now.
Got it.
I think that's another one of those Zoom updates.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm so sorry, folks. Gia and I were just talking about how Zoom feels like it's a new thing every time. Okay, it should be working now. Yay, it's
Yes,
working.
there we go.
Okay, thanks for your patience, folks. And thanks again, Hannah. Okay, I'll read the first question to you, Gia. You ready?
Okay.
All right, I'm a PhD student and my driver's license is pretty new, 2 years old, but I don't have any tickets or accidents. After discussing with my peers, I think I am overpaying for car insurance. 1.4 thousand for full coverage for 6 months. So about $1,400 for 6 months, which is too much for me to afford. Do you have any tips on what to do?
I would definitely suggest starting with comparison shopping. Going to our website and either downloading the rate guide or just inputting your address and information to see, and then calling around that way to see if you can get a better rate for yourself. Rates have gone up due to, inflation. It's harder to get parts. The cars that we have now have more bells and whistles. So to replace a typical bumper is no longer a typical bumper, because a lot of them now have cameras or some type of device in them, which costs a whole lot more. I had a consumer call me yesterday frustrated because her seatbelt is not working. And she cannot drive her car because the seatbelt isn't working and she has not had her seatbelt. The car has been in the shop for 6 months. Her insurance company only provided coverage for 50 days, but they can't give her a headway of when the seatbelt will be available. So definitely, I would say comparison shop. Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
sounds good. All right, next question's from Alice. She says, if you were able to save an emergency fund, does it make more sense to save up on your own to cover potential damage, or is it usually a better bet to get renter's insurance?
You said Alice. I love that name.
Alice.
So
Yeah.
Alice, I honestly think it's a matter of personal preference. But I've lived a little bit, and I feel like as a matter of personal preference and just for peace of mind, I would do a renter's insurance policy, because who's to say that you may not end up having to use that emergency fund for something else? I just feel like it's better safe than sorry. And depending on the amount of your emergency fund, the event could exceed what you already have. So just for peace of mind, yes, I would say
Right.
get a policy.
Because renter's insurance could cost, what's the
Anywhere from,
lower?
it depends on the policy, but anywhere from $15 to $30 a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's true. I just purchased that with two of my kids earlier this
Yes.
year. So that's
Yeah.
it's truly accurate. So $15 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a lot cheaper than spending thousands and thousands of dollars to replace your laptop and your clothing and
Yes.
your
Yeah.
everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next question is from Hannah. Um, does having a registered domestic partnership in Maryland make you eligible for married rates?
Mm. Now that I am not sure if I'm going to have to ask
Mm.
about. Hmm.
Hmm. So they should really check with
I
their,
also feel like when you call around to ask, you could ask them that, because
yeah,
that may be something that's not standard across the board for all insurance companies, but it may be for others, if that makes sense. But I'm definitely going to find out and get back to you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. If
Thank
you
you
let
very
me,
much.
My pleasure. Thank you for
Yeah.
that. Yeah. I
Yeah,
like
I
when
know
the
it's like,
question like gets my mind going.
yeah, I know because I've been looking into it for health insurance. And I know that it works for that, but I wasn't sure if it's less clear for
Yeah.
the auto insurance.
Okay. I'm gonna have to ask my director.
yeah.
I'm gonna ask my director and send the answer back to Miss Debbie.
Thank you.
Okay. And Hannah, if you send an email to glao@umd.edu with your question, then I can reply when I hear from Gia.
Okay, perfect. Thank
Okay.
you.
You're welcome. All right. Next question. So what do you do if you're getting multiple high quotes for car insurance premiums? I'm a graduate student with no tickets or accident history, but my insurance has quoted me for $326 a month for my renewal, and other carriers have similar quotes. So it sounds like this person just cannot afford that amount.
Yes. Well, it seems like so they do a couple of things based on the rates. It could be the type of car you drive, where you live, where you park your car. So those could be the things that are a factor. Um, I would say just asking if are there any discounts available? Like, is it anything that you can do for me? Seeing if you can bundle a policy with something else, but definitely asking if there are any discounts available. And
And
then going
Gia,
over to see, like, do you have to have full coverage? You know, are there different coverages that you can have, or do you have to have the policy that you currently have in place?
right, because isn't it true, like if you have an older car that's worth less, you can reduce some of your coverage. So it's more
Yes.
appropriate given the value of your car.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
All right. Next question from James. I believe that the minimum amounts for car insurance coverages were shown in the slides, but do you guys recommend getting more than the minimum? If so, how much or what would it depend on? Also, will the slides be available after the meeting? Yes. Let me
Thank you.
answer first, Gia.
Okay.
I will share links to the slides, the recording, and the value evaluation tomorrow. I will send that to everyone who registered, and it will also be posted on our website. So, Gia,
Okay.
take it away.
So, Mr. James, if you can afford to get more than the minimum, then yes. Um, but again, it's also a matter of preference. Just for your, I feel like that's another thing that's just for your peace of mind too. But making sure that you at least have the minimum so you're not in any type of trouble should you cause an accident. But if you want to have more than the minimum in case if it's an issue of uninsured motorists or something, then yes.
All right, thank you. Okay, next question. How soon should, how soon after I move should I change my car insurance? Especially if the place I'm leaving is a parent's house and I still receive mail there. How bad is it to leave the insurance as it is for a few months?
Yeah, if I that's for me. If I'll just like add a little bit to that of like if I'm not sure the place I'm going is going to be that permanent and it's just going to like change again soon. I guess just kind of any thoughts on that?
Okay, so
Right.
Ella, so it's not like you're moving to another state or a whole other like country or something,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Um, I would say if it's not, I mean, even if it's still in the same like zip code or same like area, I think you would be fine.
Yeah, do
Especially
you
if you're not
know?
sure. Like once you know that you're sure, and you've basically like settled in and you have all of your like mail and stuff going there, then I would say switch. Just for peace of mind because you don't want to commit fraud.
Right.
Right. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering like what's the limit on that or like yeah, how far away would kind of would they
Yeah.
know where you moved to or yeah.
Well, I will say that our agency does take fraud very seriously and they go through a lot to do investigations.
Okay. Yeah, that's good to know. Just like being, in college, like kind of moving around a lot, like when it,
So
yeah.
when you're in college, like especially if you're on like a parent's policy, it's just letting like letting your insurance company know, like, hey, Alice is still on our policy, but she is in school, you know, just letting them know exactly where you are, where you're going to be.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Right.
You're welcome.
I'd say from personal experience, it's good to develop a relationship with your insurance broker.
Mhm.
They're a resource to help you save money, to look at your policy and evaluate places where you could reduce your coverage and save some money. But yeah, and as to, moving around, talk to your broker and
Yes.
they'll be able to answer those questions.
Because especially if it's not, permanent.
Right.
Alice.
Yeah, just one more kind of related to that. Does the insurance have to match the address like on your driver's license? Like how long can those kind of be different from each other, or should they always match up?
Now, and I think that's a question for NVA. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you.
Okay, thanks. But like from the insurance side, are they checking that address?
They do, but if it's a thing of that's your parents' address and you just moved out on your own and you didn't have a chance to change it, then I feel like you should be okay. So I know personally myself, when I moved, I didn't change my license. I just went to NVA and got a change of address card to match my insurance policy because that was a lot cheaper. As a matter of fact, I feel like it may have been free for me to do that as opposed to getting a whole new license.
Gotcha. I didn't know about that one. Thanks.
Yeah, you can just go to the many of the NVAs now have like a kiosk that you can just go to. So you should be able to go to the kiosk and do it that way.
Okay, sounds good. All right, we have another question. Do car insurance providers give discounts based on grades to graduate students? Also, I am a member of an honor society, Phi Kappa Phi. Does that count?
I would say talk to your agent or broker to see. Some insurance companies do extend the good grade discount to graduate students. So it would just be a matter of talking to your agent or broker. Yes. Yes, mention all of the things. Like I'm affiliated with this, I'm a member of this. Like, what can you do for me?
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
You don't know if you don't ask.
All right. Any other questions? Right. Well, I know that Gia, you were so kind to share your contact information if there's further questions. So
Yes.
folks, you can reach out. Oh, I see Hannah has her hand raised. Go ahead, Hannah.
Oh, I was just doing a little clap reaction.
Aw,
Thank you.
Let's give Gia a round of applause.
Thank you. You guys
Yeah.
have been awesome.
That was so helpful, and I see lots of folks clapping. I love
Aw,
that.
thank you.
Yeah, that was great. We all need to save some money, so we needed you bad today.
Yes,
So
because holiday season is approaching.
yeah, exactly. But
Yes.
it sounds like what it really boils down to is that every insurance company is different. So you really have to talk to your broker to find out what their rules are, and hopefully you've got a good insurer who can give you some discounts, right?
And if you ever receive a rate increase in the mail and it's excessive or you have questions about it, you can always reach out to us so that we can investigate that for you as well.
Right. Yep. Yeah. All right, Gia, you are a wonderful resource. And thank you for sharing all of this with us. And thanks to everyone who joined us on Zoom. And I know some folks are going to watch this, excuse me, on YouTube. It is always good for us to spend time together. And remember, I want you to complete that post-workshop evaluation. And hopefully I will see you next Tuesday in person, free lunch at this workshop. We're going to talk about ethically using artificial intelligence in your writing assignments. Right? So you want to stay out of trouble. You want to know how to use it appropriately. Come have some lunch. Hang out with us for a bit in STAMP. I shared the registration link, and it will be shared with you again in that email I'll send to you tomorrow. So again, thank you, everyone. Great to see you. Have a great week.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you.